What's up, thumpers? Welcome to another episode of Hyper Heroes Live here on Hyper RPG. I'm very excited. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk to you guys tonight about. And what?
What the fuck?
Oh. What's up, thumpers? Welcome to another episode of Hyper Heroes Live here on Hyper
I can hear Matt in my headphones. Naeem.
Talk to you guys tonight about. And what?
What the fuck?
We back?
Are we back?
We're back.
Okay.
We're back.
I thought that was you, dude.
Yeah, what happened? That
Gone
was
for
weird.
5 seconds. I'm gone for 5 seconds.
That was weird. He just
And
started.
the whole thing just
He just
falls
like
apart.
he just like came in.
Yeah, Matt just
Fucking
started.
Matt.
Matt
Yeah.
just started talking, and I was like, "There goes Adam."
There goes
We're
Matt's
doing
trying
the
to
show.
take
The
my work.
voice was the same
Trying
and
to take
everything.
my job.
I'm embarrassed, man.
I'm mad.
I'm embarrassed,
Matt's
man.
a team player. What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are having a good night. Super excited to be here to talk another week about some fun stuff. Potentially, maybe some like controversial
Oh
stuff.
my God!
Very
What a
interesting.
big day yesterday.
What a big day for everyone. Whether you're a DC fan, whether you're Henry Cavill, you're his
Dang.
manager, you're Warner Brothers, you're
Big
fucking
day.
the dishwasher,
the
at Warner
little
Brothers
toy he
Studios.
was holding,
Oh
just
my
everything,
God.
everything.
With the blue Danu playing in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah.
That was so weird.
That was so weird.
That was so weird. That was Coy pointed that out to me because he tweeted about that.
Yeah.
And he posted. He's like, I don't know what this means.
Nobody does.
This is Henry Cavill's Instagram.
This is so
and then
strange.
I found it. I clicked on it, watched it, and I was like, what is happening?
We'll talk about it in a bit.
What?
We'll get into it.
I
We'll get
know.
into it.
It's
happening?
so odd. It's
Yeah.
so odd. But I want to give a shout out to everybody who has been jumping over to our Patreon. Adam was recast. Never in a million years. I would kill Matt before that happens.
Nah.
No, but I want to actually have Matt on the show because,
Yeah.
you know, big gamer guy. And
'Cause
he
we
loves
love Matt.
superheroes too.
Yeah.
and
We gotta have
we gotta have more people from
guests.
the studio.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
studio friends, and then more guests, and we do have that actually lined up the next
We
couple
do.
weeks.
Yeah,
We have
next
some-
couple weeks, you got
yeah.
some guests coming, so
we
it'll
got
be a lot of
some,
fun.
got some cool
Yes.
peeps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it helps that everyone in this house, every guy in this house, you know, almost every, well, actually
Looks
just
the
Matt.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just Matt.
All Slavs and Mexicans look the
That's
same.
right.
Is that right? Yeah.
We are just one big melting pot.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
We're all just human beings, guys.
That's right. That's
all.
right. You got a chance to play Spider-Man also, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I played
Yeah, I
about
played
it.
a little bit too.
I
We're
played
gonna
about
talk
an
about it a
hour
little
and a
bit
half.
later. Yeah, we're gonna play.
And I have not had time to play more, and
Yeah.
that's also kind of eating away at me. That I'm like,
Is that going to
I'm
be
like,
your new Uncharted? Like,
You mean Just Cause?
oh yeah, Just Cause. sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Keller's
definitely.
deep into it, and
Oh, is he?
he's got his own file, and I got
Of
my own
course,
file. This
of
is the thing
course.
you cannot share files on.
No,
No.
because
of
the
course
story is so, you know.
Yeah, no,
But,
you don't jump in the middle of his game.
Yeah,
So I'm watching him do his thing for a little bit, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So we got to share. So like, I have to time it to where if I'm playing, it's when he's not home.
Yeah,
you know, so
that's
that
right.
he,
yeah.
That's
So you
right,
guys don't
that's
cross.
Otherwise,
You don't cross the streams.
Don't cross those
Otherwise,
streams,
Don't
baby.
cross those streams.
Don't cross
you
those
know.
streams. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but okay.
that's rock paper
Yeah,
scissors
yeah.
go.
Jabberwocky, thank you so much for posting the Patreon link. Yes, we are doing more Patreon stuff. We have a brand new poll up for obscure 90s superhero movies. There's 5 choices in there. Some of those include
Ooh.
Darkman, Tank Girl, Blank Man, The Meteor Man, and The Phantom.
Yup.
Ooh.
That's
so
gonna be so much fun.
It's gonna be fun.
No joke. I don't remember watching any of those
Yeah.
movies.
I think the one I remember the most.
Blank man.
I think The
Blank.
Phantom actually. For
Really?
me, yeah. And then
Dude.
Darkman.
I want to rewatch.
All of
I would
them.
rewatch all of them.
Same.
yeah,
but
yeah.
same.
I'm down to watch all those movies.
Wow.
over
Yeah,
again. Yeah.
So if you join the Patreon at either the $1 tier, you'll get access to the poll. If you join at the $10 tier, you get access to the live stream. If you join the $5 tier, you'll get early access, and then it'll be available on YouTube at a later date. I've also been talking to Lucas about maybe doing some more stuff through Patreon. Obviously, the DC app is coming out.
We've been talking about it.
talking about
We've been talking
this.
about it. If enough
Um,
people have it,
Yeah.
let's click some play on some
Yep.
Lois and Clark. You know what I'm
So
So
saying?
I think I think we're gonna go back, and I think we're gonna go to like animated series for Batman and Superman. Lois and Clark would be dope.
I would
Yes.
love that.
So
our buddy Ryan Unicomb said Blank Man is the greatest movie of all time.
agreed.
That's great.
Agreed.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
No.
That's so funny.
So yeah, just check out the Patreon. There's a lot of tiers. We're gonna be sort of reworking some stuff just so we can make the tiers a little bit more friendly to a lot more people. I think
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people go to some of the tiers and
a
like
little bit
well,
more
I don't really know.
attractive.
Yeah,
a little
More
sexier.
sexy.
Ooh, okay.
Mwah.
Too sexy.
like
Not too sexy though.
Unbutton,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a
Just a little.
unbutton.
Just a little.
bit.
Oh no.
One more.
By the way, I love the
it's too
fact
sexy.
I love the fact that you keep a baby picture of Hector on your phone.
No, I don't. I snuck to both of your Instagrams and stole those.
Yeah, that was
I
deep
was
in
quick.
there.
Yeah, that was
That was
deep.
deep in
Because
the
I know
brain.
you
Ninja.
posted a few, and I know you posted a
deep
few,
in
and I
the
was like,
brain.
oh, I gotta find these fucking things.
Oh, that Superman one is I'm a
You're a baby.
real
Yeah.
fanboy.
There's a picture of me with in a Spider-Man shirt, or I'm sorry, Superman shirt, but I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm doing karate in this one. I gotta be
It's
karate
good.
boy.
It's so
Gotta
good.
be karate boy.
Someone on Instagram mentioned like y'all need to make some space for Pooch on there. I'm like,
That's
you
true.
should have.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pooch has a lot of
Lot
kid
of good
pictures,
baby
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
so
got to make one with all
next
four of
time.
us.
Next
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
I'll throw Pooch
all
in
of
there.
Pooch's pictures, his Throwback Thursdays to when he was playing football.
Football.
Yeah.
I'll have like a hashtag McDonald's, hashtag like
And I always
hashtag like
him-
10-piece
Yeah,
nuggets.
yep.
Like,
and
it's
I
so
always,
funny.
I always hashtag him thick boy,
Thick
just
boy.
Yep.
with 2 C's though,
Yep.
with
Yeah.
2 C's.
Yeah.
Ronan Unchained is asking any news on a possible LA meet and greet in the future.
Oh snap!
Yeah, so I did.
Yeah, every Thursday night at 9:30
That's right,
p.m.
That's right. That's
Dog,
right, baby.
we're here.
That is the
We're here.
that is the live meetup.
You're not invited here, but watch online.
No, so yeah, I did on Instagram. You can do the questions, and one of the things that somebody asked was,
Oh, yeah.
whether or not we're going to do a meetup locally here in Los Angeles. Something that honestly, like, I never thought about.
Uh-huh.
I think mostly because like we live in LA, we work in LA, we do all
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah.
So I've always thought like Comic-Con's great because we can like meet people who come in from all over the place.
You know what would be so cool though if we did a meetup at like a movie screening. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know where
Right?
you're going with this.
Right, like if there
Hey.
because like Colliders put them on and it's so
Yeah.
much fun and
Hey Hector,
I-
how
I-
would you feel if we threw
Huh?
on a movie screening of like, I don't know, say our favorite 3D movies or something
oh
like
my
that?
god, I would like that.
I don't know,
so
maybe
much.
maybe just like a double feature of movies,
Yeah.
A double
like
feature?
a 3D movie that we really. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
And
how
the
you-
question is, would people be
would
interested
people
in
show
it?
up?
Would people
in LA
watch?
show up? Would people in
Eh?
LA get tickets and sell it
Eh?
out? I don't know.
Thank you
man.
so much for the $1.99 tip.
Yeah.
Luca Muyumba, thank you very much.
Tori says, "Nah, fam, y'all gotta come to Philly to do a meetup." You were in Philly. You
I
went
was
to
in Philly about 4 months ago,
4
and it
months
was
ago.
great.
It's cool. I would go.
It's
Yeah.
a really cool place, actually. Lots of cool places to meet up. So if we ever go down to Philly,
Yeah.
all three of us together.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing. So, like, that's kind of the reason why we started a Patreon, because the Patreon would
Yeah.
essentially enable us to be able to do stuff like that. We'd be able, because, like, honestly, if we put out a poll and we put, like, pick your top 3 cities,
Right.
you got to remember the airfare, the lodging,
Yeah.
the venue to do all these meetups. It
The
costs a lot.
time to take off work.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So,
all
like,
that
if the
stuff.
community really wants that sort of stuff and we can all come together, then, like, you know, we can find a middle ground and then we can do those things, because that'd be awesome. Like, I'd love to be able to do meetups in other cities
Yeah, definitely.
and, like, do this show in other cities.
What? Are you serious, Ryan? There hasn't been a 3D release flick in cinemas in Australia since Force
Oh,
Awakens.
wow.
Shut the fuck up.
Damn, they're really
Be happy
phasing it
that
out.
you don't
That
live in
is
Australia.
depressing me,
That's
dude. That is-
crazy.
but Ryan knows the struggle because
Yeah.
he gets
Yeah,
his.
Ryan
He also
knows.
gets 3D Blu-rays.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
to
Ryan,
watch
Ryan
on
imports
his
like
setup. Yeah,
most
yeah.
of his stuff. Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Okay.
That's crazy.
That's rough,
Hey.
dude.
People are like,
I can
crazy.
imagine the Australian Hector just flipping his shit right now.
Oh yeah, it's
Just-
Ryan Unicomb.
Oh,
It is-
mate,
it is Ryan.
This is ridiculous, man. There hasn't been a 3D film here since Force Awakens. No, piss
What
off,
about like
mate.
a
Get out of
Mexican
here, mate.
Australian accent?
Oh yeah, way. Get out of here. No mamas, cabron.
Cabron. Pinchy.
Oh, Pinchy.
Can someone please time code
Great.
this? 'Cause I need to
Great.
clip this, and I'm gonna run this on every social platform that
Puta
we
tu
have.
madre. Another movie we're missing out on. Fuck.
You need to get together with Ryan on like
Puta de
Messenger.
madre.
Some of the stuff that Ryan Unicomb posts on Facebook, I'm like, man, Aussie lingo is so interesting to
Oh,
me.
for
Like
sure.
some
I
of the
love it.
phrases,
I love
it's
it.
For
so
sure.
fucking
I love
funny.
it.
They have the best ones for.
Yeah.
I think from just like my Australian friends, they have the best ones for across the board getting drunk because there's like you
Yeah.
know how Eskimos have like 900 words for ice.
Yeah.
Like they have 900 words for getting drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Being drunk
Exactly.
and being fucked up and being
Uh-huh,
hungover and
uh-huh.
stuff. That's the best.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the best.
it is the
But yeah,
best.
I would love to be able to do.
Oh, thank you so
oh,
much.
so much.
Snap.
HNDX 1970. Love you guys.
Wow.
Congrats, Hector.
That's
Do you want to
fantastic.
see Michael B. Jordan as Superman? We
Yo,
are gonna
dog,
talk about
we
it.
will
my
talk
God.
about
We're
just
gonna get
for you.
into it. We're gonna
Just-
get into
just
it.
for you. Given that $20 tip, I also just want to thank everybody before we get into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Everybody in the chat who
Yeah,
shows
thank
up
you so much.
week after week. You don't have to donate anything. Just showing
Yeah,
up, showing some
appreciate that.
love. Like Zarina's arms in the chat right now.
Yeah,
Zarina's
what's
a longtime
up?
fan. Ryan, obviously. We
Yeah.
got Ronan in the chat. So all you longtime fans and all you new
Jabberwocky,
people,
yeah.
Yeah.
all you quiet people who don't say anything.
Lurkers.
I mean, thank you for showing up
Yeah.
anyway. You know, that's
Here's
that's
the thing
great.
I love about the live stream is like the people who come to the live stream are the very passionate fans.
Yep.
You know, people who like want to engage, and that's why like on Twitter today I
Yeah.
was like, come be a voice in the
Yeah.
chat room because
Come show up.
we love interacting with you guys and we love vibing off of like the things you guys say and all that stuff. I like doing the show when we pre-recorded it because we could just focus on the conversation.
Yeah,
that's cool
but it's
too.
nice to have the added element where we
Agreed.
can point out something that someone says like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Good
it's great. So
ideas
thank
in
you
the
guys
chat.
for joining
Good
us.
community. We love you guys. And mods, if we're gonna be talking about some Superman stuff today, so if you're in the chat,
Don't worry about it.
Be
Don't worry about
on the lookout.
Yeah,
be on the
yeah,
lookout
yeah,
for
yeah.
some peeps.
That's right. That's
Muka
right.
says, Hector, don't get fired. Don't worry, I'm not going to. It's fine. I can talk about DC, I can talk about Marvel, and talk about whatever I want. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
All right.
Well, let's just get into it. Let's get
it's
into
time.
it.
It's
So,
time.
My
It's
opinions
time.
are my own.
That's
Duh.
right.
Yeah.
Is that one of
yeah.
those things that like you've been asked like, can you just put that in your Twitter bio or no?
I haven't yet.
No, that's
And
good.
I'm running out of room. Like, I'm selfish. At the top of my Twitter bio, I'm like, gotta have
Here are the
500
35
greatest
things
films.
that I've done.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, shit, I gotta make sure to put
okay.
like hyper heroes in there. I gotta make sure to put like, what am I at right now?
You
like,
got 500 greatest podcasts. You got
that-
Hyperheroes.
I'm
You
gonna
got
be
Book
selfish.
Club.
That's always gonna be in there. I got 500 greatest films. I got Lore Masters of Geek and Sundry. I'm doing it with Ryan Green, our buddy Ryan Green. Like,
I love Ryan
Green.
Green.
He's
Tell
awesome.
Ryan Green I said hi. Next
I will
time.
tell him that. So I put that in there. I got Hyper Heroes as third, and then I have both of my book clubs
Yeah.
on Alpha, comic,
Right.
and regular, and then I got Animation Investigation. I'm like,
That's right.
I need to find a way to put
Oops.
DC Daily on there. Like, I
Yeah,
need to, I need
something's
to put
gonna have
that,
to
and I
get
even
cut.
still have other stuff that is,
Maybe one of your book clubs is gonna have to get cut because that's double.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a commitment.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to read
Move
this.
things
I
around.
just want to
Whatever.
read this tip really quick
Yeah.
that came in because it went by
Wow.
so fast.
Thank you.
$5 Canadian dollars by Waleed. Hey guys, you always do amazing work. Thank you. Hope Hector enjoyed Toronto. All the love from the province of Alberta, Canada.
Yeah,
That's
boy.
right.
so
You went to
much.
TIFF.
I went to TIFF, but not really. I went to
Yeah.
do a Predator press junket for one day. Like,
Yeah,
I was there
yeah.
for
Yeah.
one day. I got to hang out with Alicia Malone.
Mhm.
Okay.
One of my
Oh,
favorite
she's
people.
great.
She's
I
the
love
best.
Alicia.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And
If you're not following her on Instagram, she had
Dude,
like the best tips for getting
so
through the film
good.
festival. It was amazing.
So
I
good.
loved it.
So like we hung out, we had dinner, and she was also telling me some of those tips because she is somebody that has been going to film festivals. She
Yeah,
told
for
me
a
about that
long
whole
time.
world, and I was like, I never knew
Oh my
about that. I
goodness.
never knew. So I learned about all that, and then she was doling out those great Instagram
Uh-huh.
things, and then I hung out with my friend from Nerdist, Michelle. She does the social media.
Uh-huh.
So spent some time there, but like they were going to movie screenings. I didn't have a badge. I didn't have
Yeah.
any tickets.
Yeah.
I was just there to interview some people from The Predator,
You just there
and
to
then
work.
I went home.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
But I spent half of the day walking around Toronto, which is awesome, and I hit up like 4 comic book stores. I spent like
Nice.
4 hours
Nice,
just
nice.
walking to comic book stores,
Yeah.
and I found a Iron Man comic I was looking for that is out of print, and I couldn't find anywhere online or here in the U.S.,
Uh-huh.
and I found it there. So bought that shit, brought
Wow.
it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What
Thanks
happened?
so much, mate.
Hector, as an Australian, I have to say that your Aussie accent is the tits.
No.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh, and Ryan Unicombe, what a great compliment.
Yes.
He says Alicia Malone is our greatest export since Steve Irwin.
Yes.
Hashtag
Yeah, yeah,
fact.
By the way, I saw the
nice.
trailer for the new Irwin family show
Oh,
that's
God.
happening. I'm
What?
like, oh
I'm
man,
just gonna
it's gonna
cry
hit me
the
hard,
entire
hit me
episode.
hard.
Steve Irwin, Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
You know, these are people we like. These are
You know who people always
Weird
forget?
Al. Who?
Mr. Reading Rainbow himself.
Oh, LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton.
He's
People
up there.
always
He's up
overlook
there.
LeVar Burton.
You're right. You're right.
They do.
And people like straight up like.
That's like the trinity of holiness, of like wholesomeness right there.
I've
Yeah.
seen him at cons, and I've seen people walk by and be like, "You're the reason I know how to read." Like, he's the best. He's the best.
Yo, I have
Yeah.
I should have. Too bad.
What?
I have a Reading Rainbow coffee mug.
Yeah.
Everyone in the house
the
uses
best.
it.
Hey, but don't take
Thanks.
his word for it. But
freeze the frame.
we should
No.
bring that
Aw,
back. We
damn
should
it.
do adults reading Rainbow. We should like
I think
talking
they did
about
bring it back
books.
for a little bit.
They did?
I mean, we kind of are comic
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
Except
do
we're
it.
not as wholesome as LeVar Burton.
We
That's
should
right.
do we should do that exact format though, like
Oh.
those 80s wipes, that music,
Yeah,
like
that'd be great.
you know, like the close-ups of the comics.
I really want to
Yeah?
wear the short shorts.
Well, I just
Can
said
Let's
it
not
out
talk
loud.
about
Yeah.
someone doesn't take our idea.
Well, they already did it. Try to beat us to it.
That's right,
But do
that's
it better.
right.
Do it good at least.
Do it gooder.
Do it gooder.
Let's get into this.
Okay, yeah, finally,
Very
let's
interesting
talk about
stuff.
the news.
Very interesting stuff. Yesterday, woke up,
Uh-huh.
did not expect to hear this, that Henry Cavill apparently had parted ways with Warner Brothers and DC and will no longer be playing Superman.
This is coming from apparently,
Yes.
allegedly, the Hollywood Reporter.
Yes.
Yes.
Which isn't. It's something that came out super early in the morning, 6 a.m.
Mhm.
Super.
is
I woke up and
9
I was
a.m.
like,
Eastern.
I'm not awake for now.
That's
Dude.
standard Eastern time. though.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
Yeah.
9 a.m. This is really interesting because there was no response from Warner Brothers. This was all sort of like
Yeah.
one insider said,
mhm,
our
mhm, mhm.
insiders say, which
Yeah.
is the way
Mhm.
that they run their business if they have anonymous sources. But at the same time, it's like you got to take it with a grain of
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah.
So that happened. Then what happened?
So that happened, and the whole reason why it happened was apparently Henry Cavill's managers had a meeting with Warner Brothers, and the negotiations broke down for him to have a cameo in the Shazam movie,
Which is coming out next
It's coming out in
spring.
April.
Mhm.
Yeah,
April.
April of next year.
Mhm.
And I don't know exactly how many movies are left in his contract. I think he's contractually obligated for one more.
Mm.
And then after that, it's sort of up in the air.
Mhm.
But it seems like outside of this cameo that he was going to do in Shazam, there really was no indication of like we're doing more Superman stuff.
There
No.
hasn't been,
Yeah,
and in
which
fact
is
there was
so
a confirmation. There was a confirmation of that. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's really it's actually part of the whole thing.
It is. It is. We're getting into
there's
all of this.
a whole confirmation of that comes later. But what happens after this
Yeah.
news gets out? The internet blows
So
up.
that comes out. Henry Cavill. So as far as we know so far, Henry Cavill is done. He's leaving. No more Superman movies with Henry Cavill.
Mhm.
But-
Super shitty. The Hollywood Reporter says that Warner Brothers is apparently going to be sort of shifting its focus to other characters,
To Supergirl
to
specifically.
Supergirl,
Batgirl.
Batgirl, Batwoman,
Her show.
her shows exactly.
Yeah.
Seems in response to Wonder Woman being critically and commercially
Yes.
successful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I don't blame them, but we'll talk about it in a
Yes,
bit. We'll get
yes.
into it.
Uh-huh.
The interesting thing about the Supergirl movie, the thing that they said was it's apparently going to be, and they have somebody working on it now, but none of it's none of it's for sure, none of it's 100%. But they do have somebody scripting it right now. It's going to be an origin movie, and in the origin movie, Superman will be Kal-El, baby Kal-El.
So pause right there for a
Yeah.
second. Let's
Let's
talk
talk about that.
about that for a
Yeah.
second. This is why it's frustrating when the Hollywood Reporter or Variety drops this shit, because again, they're not comic book nerds, so they don't know what natural questions will arise. Here's my
Right.
first
Right.
natural fucking question.
Yeah. Right.
Are you telling me you're going to do a movie where Kara Zor-El is on Krypton the entire time?
That's
So that's not a
literally what I
Supergirl-
was
That's
talking
not a
about.
Supergirl movie.
It's
That's like if they did a Silver Surfer movie, but it's just Norrin Rad on Zen-La.
Yeah.
So you're just
Right.
making a movie about a bald guy before Galactus shows up?
Yeah,
Like what
exactly.
is so he's not the Silver Surfer.
Hector, they made the show already. It's fucking Krypton, dude.
Yeah.
And that at
everybody
least,
hated.
And that at least has a twist that
At
justifies its
It does.
existence. We
Right.
talked about this. At
Yes.
least that one is like, but here's the thing, time travel. But here's the
Yeah.
thing, Adam Strange. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, General Zod, as you know him,
Yep.
also traveled back in time.
Yep.
Like they threw some wrenches in there. Like Krypton has won me over. Main dude who stars in it as Seg-El is such a Superman
Cameron Cuff.
fan.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's a huge fan.
that-
Right.
He's going to be
that
coasting with you on DC Daily.
He's doing stuff. He's already
Yeah.
been doing some stuff and everything.
Yeah,
Like so
yeah.
that shit's won me over. So I'm
Mhm,
like, okay, I understand this premise.
Yeah.
But again, when they announced Krypton, they couldn't announce those secrets. So the announcement of Krypton still brought up these questions for fans, where they're like, why is
How?
there a Superman show
Right.
without Superman?
Right, and then we got bought into it when we saw the trailer. We saw
Yeah.
the time travel.
And
we
I
saw the
watched
twist.
some of it, and I
Yeah.
really liked it.
Comic book fans are only going off of established track records, and so
Right.
far there was a Gotham show, which is
Right.
So, but then again, you cut to this Supergirl movie plan,
Mhm.
where they're like, oh, well, in Supergirl's origin, she's older than Kal-El Superman, and he's an infant. So in this movie, he'll be an infant, meaning we won't need Henry Cavill. And again, I ask of you, what is this film? Because if it's Kara Zor-El on Krypton in the city of Kandor
Yeah.
before Krypton explodes and before
Right.
she also has to leave, and then because of space time travel shows up 30 years after Superman does, and he's born and raised.
Right.
I'm like at the very least, whoever has made this announcement, decision, whatever, we're not asking a lot. If you don't want to read Supergirl comic books, fine. Watch the pilot to the CBS, now CW Supergirl show.
Yeah.
Covers it very
quickly.
very
yeah.
easy to
Done.
understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Then she really is Supergirl. So already with that announcement, I'm like, I wish it wasn't a Hollywood Reporter. I wish it was Warner Brothers or DC themselves that is letting me know what's the plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
Right.
the plan is, hey, stick with us because we have a plan. We have Krypton-esque reveals we can't tell you about. Then okay, that would be something. But again, it's a Hollywood
out
Reporter
there.
person
Yeah,
going,
it's just
and
like-
because Supergirl is older than Superman, ching,
Yep, that's
print.
it. Done.
And my comic book brain is like, no.
They still use
stop.
typewriters.
So many frayed
that doesn't make
lines
sense.
here. Yeah,
that doesn't
exactly.
make sense to me.
Nothing's connecting like this.
So
yeah.
anyway, so
Well,
that
plus, and I think the problem with that also is like, okay, if you're telling us that it's an origin story that takes place when Kal-El is a baby, has to be obviously before Krypton explodes. That means Michael Shannon will be back as General Zod. Russell Crowe should be back
So
as
right there, let
Jor-El.
me stop you right
Eyla
there.
Zerrer should be back as
your question
Lara.
is, does this Supergirl film take place in the established
In the same
franchise?
franchise.
And that is the biggest question that's happening with some of these film projects right now.
Yes.
We know that Aquaman does because it's Jason Momoa and there's continuity.
Yes,
Right.
and
But
Justice
even
League,
then,
yeah.
we also don't know. We could watch Aquaman, and they could do something at the beginning of this movie that, like, people that keep track of continuity would be like, oh, then this isn't
Yeah.
Batman
place before
versus
all of that.
Superman or
Yeah.
Justice League
Yeah.
Aquaman. Like, they could do something like that. I don't think they will. I think they're moving full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Shazam, we know because of background details. No
Right.
cameos of other
Right.
characters in the trailers yet, in the trailer, but just background details that fans have been like,
newspaper clippings.
that's it.
just
So it's like, okay,
whatever,
it's
all
in the
that
world.
stuff.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman 2, it's in the world.
Yeah.
But the Joker Elseworlds movie, and it's only comic book fans that keep saying Elseworlds because there has been no
Right.
official announcement of like, this is the brand and this is what's happening. And with every other movie that's coming up, with rumors that we're hearing about the Batman film, with rumors we're hearing about Gotham City Sirens and Harley Quinn and Joker and I don't know what else is happening. Batgirl,
Everything.
everything.
Basically everything, yeah.
Like that main question hasn't been technically answered yet.
No.
And
No.
especially with the fact that now the rumors that these two actors, Henry and Ben Affleck, are leaving.
Right.
There's still questions of like, okay, is this a recast? Is this a reboot? Are you going to say the character that Henry Cavill played in Man of Steel will continue? He will now be played by a different actor.
Right.
Or are you
Right.
going to say, we're just going to make a new Superman movie, completely ignoring what came before, and this is some new continuity and world?
Well, then-
Or, like, that's it. So
I was thinking about that on the car ride over here. So, Wonder Woman was such a smash fucking hit
Yeah.
that there's potential. And they started it off so brilliantly with not even showing Bruce Wayne, like just hinting towards the fact that he was inquiring about this picture. That you can probably, if you really don't have that much faith in your product like beforehand,
Yeah.
you can use Wonder Woman as a solid basis to build a whole new universe. Granted, it would be a soft reboot,
Right.
but
I think what you're saying is there's so much goodwill there
exactly.
that if they did a thing, because people keep talking about Henry Cavill and James Bond.
Right.
I also just want to shout out this. Our buddies JTE and Billy Business
Oh,
from
yeah.
Screen
yeah.
Junkies, they put out a podcast today talking about this, and I listened to the whole thing, 36 minutes. They're awesome. They had some great points to make that I'll bring up later. But one of the things they said is that on the online, everyone's talking about James Bond. Just James Bond it.
Yeah.
Even with James Bond actors, with each new actor, it also comes with, and Billy Business said this, a new Moneypenny, a new Q, a new, you know what I mean? Like
the
whole-
Rogues Gallery is different. Yeah.
Yes, like, a new Blofeld. If there's a
Yeah.
new, so
Supporting
like,
cast has to change.
Right.
so really the only James Bond example I can think of is when Judi Dench played M in the Pierce Brosnan movies and also the Daniel Craig. They didn't mention it, but she
Right.
wasn't. I don't think so. She was not supposed to be the same
Right.
M, but the same actor was able to do it. So I think you're saying, Augustine, there's so much goodwill with Gal Gadot.
Yes.
If they were like brand new DC universe,
Right.
new actor playing Superman, new actor
Right.
playing Batman, new actor playing The Flash, new actor playing Green Lantern, he's back, new actor playing Cyborg, new actor playing Martian Manhunter, new blah, 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 blah. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. I don't think people would be like, no, it doesn't make sense continuity.
Exactly.
I think people would be
Nobody's-
like, cool.
Nobody's gonna be like, nah, fuck that. Of course they're not gonna say that because it's Gal Gadot. Like she's
Yeah.
not gonna not be accepted as Wonder Woman. So given the fact that they also said they wanted to focus on Supergirl and Batgirl and all these things, I think they're really writing off this fact that women are really attaching themselves to this and really attach themselves to Wonder Woman. So they're like, okay, cool. Let's give the women something else to attach to. So what if we just add the dudes as not even titular characters, just like characters that come in and help Wonder Woman in certain specific areas.
Supporting.
Right. And I'm not saying it's the best idea. I'm just saying like
This
we
is
need
the
to
this is decision making.
Yeah, exactly. Like some kind of decision needs to be made on what Batman and Superman's roles in this universe are going to be at this point.
Yes.
You know?
Because when you look at their main competitor, Marvel Studios, right now, however you feel about the characters, it is very clear how that studio thinks about Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Thor Odinson.
Yeah.
Like those three characters, like in the comic books,
Right.
they're the Trinity. They're the linchpins of that world. It is very clear how that franchise feels about them.
Right.
Even after the first Captain America movie came out and people were like, I don't think it's that great.
Yeah.
Marvel was like, but Cap will be the leader of the Avengers.
Right.
Cap will get a sequel. We will bring back
Exactly.
Winter Soldier. Like it
Exactly.
just, they
Right.
position them to be similar roles as their comic book universe.
Exactly.
And right
now look at Cap. Now look at Thor. Now look at all these characters.
It's too early to tell. It's too late and too early to tell what their plans are for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman in terms of like their larger world, because it's not, because right now they're like, but let's spend time with Aquaman, which is great. Let's spend time with Shazam, which is great.
Right.
We have yet to get those kinds of plans.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the frustrating thing, I want to read this like Twitter thread Or actually, we need to go back to the order of events.
Yeah,
And still talk
actually,
about
there's
what
still more
happens
happening.
after this news comes
We just
out.
got started.
We literally, this is going to be like a 3-hour-long show. Whew. Okay.
So after all that happened, everybody was freaking out, obviously, and Henry Cavill's manager went on Twitter, posted something, and she said, "Be peaceful. The cape is still in his closet. Warner Brothers Pictures has been and continues to be our partners as they evolve the DC universe. Anticipate a WB statement later today."
Okay.
So that happened,
Okay.
which, as we all know, it's a very glossy PR
Sure.
response.
But what is it saying? It's saying, hey, don't freak out. He's not fired.
Right.
Is basically what it's
Yeah,
saying.
he's still Superman.
It's
So-
the most non-answer answer you can
Yes.
He's
But then-
still playing Superman. We just don't have a movie
give.
for him.
Right.
And
Which
then
is kind of where we already are. But yes,
exactly. And then Warner Brothers, they released a statement that was added to the Hollywood Reporter article, and they said, "We have a great relationship and great respect for Henry Cavill that continues to remain unchanged. Additionally, we have made no current decisions regarding any upcoming Superman films."
We already knew this.
And that is so frustrating to me
That-
still.
Yes.
So that's the non-answer. They literally gave us nothing, but they just said, "Hey, nothing's confirmed, nothing's
But
changed."
Is that Warner Brothers saying, hey, he's still our Superman?
No, it's not.
Well, because read the first
It's
part of
not.
that statement again.
We have a great relationship and great respect for Henry Cavill that continues to remain unchanged.
Remain unchanged. Now that's so tricky.
That's absolutely vague because
Yeah.
what if he already decided he wanted out way before this? Like what if after Batman or after Justice League he was like, "You know what? I don't know if I want to do this anymore."
Well, I
Like we don't know
that's a
what the
very-
status
sure.
of change
The only
means.
reason that I would say no is because anytime he's promoted some of his recent movies or doing Mission Impossible, he's passionately talked about Superman
he is-
and what
it
he
se-
wants
it
to
seems
do.
like he
fucking
is-
loves Superman.
Let me
That's
say this.
why.
Let me say this though. Let me say this. I did a press junket. Ben Affleck's movie, The
Live by Night.
Accountant.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh, that's right. You did.
right.
Yeah.
I was sent there by Nerdist.
Mhm.
Nerdist asked me to ask a Batman question.
Mhm.
I did that. Publicist there said, "Hey, we're going to stick to questions about the accountant,"
Mhm.
and I was like, "Totally understand."
"No worries."
So, that was right after Batman versus Superman,
Mhm.
not after Justice League, but before Justice League.
Right.
So was that and it was pretty soon after. Was that a Ben Affleck, the actor, made that call, or was that his publicist made that call because every question's about Batman?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Judging
I don't know.
by
so,
the gif of when he heard the news of the
That's-
poor reception for the movie, I'm guessing it was Ben Affleck. Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm
Sure.
guessing it was Ben Affleck not wanting to hurt your feelings by saying, "Hey, dude, I'm not
Yeah.
going to talk about
for sure,
that."
which is
Yeah.
that's the way that stuff runs.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly.
So, but it's a thing of like, and I know Ben Affleck is passionate. He loves
Absolutely,
the character Batman.
He loves
I know
Batman.
that too.
He has
so
a Batcave.
this is all stuff that like us as fans being on the outside when we're reading statements like this,
Yeah.
like
Right.
which is conjecture. It's just like us like trying to figure out what that stuff
It
means.
is.
And
It is.
for me, the thing I hone in on is the word respect.
Yeah.
Feels like it's hey, we're respectfully breaking up. That's so. All
it's
of this,
just like creative differences.
yes,
That's exactly
It's
what
this-
it is.
But sexier.
It's
and
like
and again, if this isn't the case, this is what Warner Brothers has to like sort of fight against. Honestly, is that
Exactly.
this is the perception.
right.
That this is the perception.
Right. They're
So,
not changing. It was just the most vague answer. Like, if you read that and
Stresses me
try to
out.
break it down, there's no concrete evidence of anything there.
Yeah.
Like, you interject your own beliefs on what you want to hear out of that sentence.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, it's like, you gave me nothing.
Well, then
You
the plot
literally gave me
plot
nothing.
thickens.
This is
I know,
This
what
is the
This
most
is the never-ending
So many
bizarre
layers.
dumpster,
This is
dumpster truck.
This is what's so crazy.
So
This is
many
the craziest
onion
part.
layers.
So Henry
Okay.
Cavill goes on his Instagram. He posts a video, and it's him lifting a Superman figure into frame, not even like reacting, and then removing it out
Very
of the frame.
stoic.
Literally
staring
30
at the
seconds
camera
just staring at the camera.
in his dark house.
And
Like
all he says was, "Today was a exciting day." Is that
Yeah,
what he said?
exciting.
Something
Yes.
like
I
that.
think it
Hashtag
was
Superman.
exciting or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I'm like,
Superman. And it's like a goofy.
What are you
It's
doing?
a goofy song playing, not like an epic song
Yeah.
playing. It's like a circusy.
it's what's
Right,
it called?
right,
It's
right.
the Blue Danube.
Blue Danube.
So I will say one weird thing. So that same day that this happened,
I don't know if you can say anything that's any weirder than what's
well,
happening right
maybe
now.
I don't know. But so I went to Target because I go to Target on my break
You
sometimes.
saw Henry
I
Cavill.
go to the toy section.
Yeah.
No Warner Brothers toys whatsoever.
Really?
Nothing. And usually there's the Marvel toys, and then there's
Hey.
the DC Legend series.
Did they
right
move
next to it. No, I went up and down that entire aisle because I was like, wait,
Jose Alvarez
Hold
says
on.
I unfollowed him after that.
No, don't unfollow him because there's gonna be juicy nuggets after that.
You gotta follow
Yeah.
him.
You gotta-
This is
that
the
was just
time
a
to follow.
taste.
Go,
If you
go,
weren't
go,
following
go,
Taste of the
go.
If you
Glory.
weren't following him before,
Yeah.
start following him.
right now. But
Post
I
notifications
thought it was,
on.
I thought it was really weird because every time I would go and look for a Marvel Legends figure,
Sure.
there would always be a cool DC
Yeah.
display next to it with
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, with
Mhm.
Ben Affleck, with everybody
The
there.
Michael
Justice
Keaton
League
There's
boys.
not even
Yeah, a
Wonder
bunch of
Woman
them.
toys there. There was
Oh.
nothing.
Justice League
No
came out 2017 November, and there
yeah.
still was a presence until it seemed like Aquaman is going to come out.
There
know what I
should
mean?
be a shit ton of Aquaman toys out there right now,
Sure.
and there is nothing.
Or like we'll probably see some in the next 2 or 3 months.
I think once
I hope
New York
so.
Comic Con
Yeah.
passes, you will start to see a lot
I don't
more.
know what the like rule is for
I have
toys.
no
But that's
clue.
the thing,
you
though.
know, but
What
yeah.
did George Lucas say about
Yeah.
making money in movies? It's the merchandising.
Yeah.
Why do you think he became fucking rich?
Well, there's
because of the
someone
merchandising.
made
I've
like
seen the
someone
Aquaman
made a pie
toys.
chart.
I've seen them at Comic Con. They're dope. Like
yeah,
I saw.
someone
Yeah.
made a pie chart about that.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like the theatrical revenue from like Star Wars versus like
Right.
video games and toys and all that stuff. Toys
Yeah.
was the
It
whole
blows
pie.
everything
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
Crazy.
whenever he signed on to Star Wars, he just wanted the toy rights
Yeah.
because they make so much money.
That's
So
why a lot of actors have those deals.
I don't know if this is an indication now. Maybe there's just some kids in the neighborhood who fucking love DC and they bought everything
Cleaned
up.
it out. Was there
Not sure.
sections for it?
No.
Did you see?
There was no sections for it.
Nada.
That was the weird thing. So I
Okay.
was looking because when I noticed it, I was like, "There's no tags for anything DC." It was just like Marvel and then Nerf, like no break in between. So
So
I'm just
weird.
like, "Is this on purpose?"
Was there
Like
there's still wrestling.
there
there's
was still wrestling.
Star Wars.
Everything else was still there, dude.
Yeah.
It was
Turtles.
really, really
Weird.
weird.
And I know
really, really
I know
weird.
Henry Cavill had a meeting with The Rock like a
He was
year or
holding
so
a toy
ago.
too.
In that photo?
And no, in the thing, the
Oh,
Instagram.
yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I know he had, and I don't know, maybe that was because Henry Cavill ended up going with Danny Garcia as like a client. So I don't know if that was like the meeting
I
was
don't know.
about.
Oh, because Danny Garcia also represents The Rock.
Yeah, they were they used to be married, so they worked together. They worked
Oh,
together.
interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, I love The Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to mention this.
Yes.
JTE, Billy Business. They're really smart. This is the thing they talked about today. They said, could this possibly be a huge publicity stunt or move?
It's
Could
possible.
this be
It's possible.
the fact that who leaked this news to the Hollywood Reporter? What if it was Danny and Henry?
Mhm,
What if
mhm.
it was Henry Cavill's representation
Mhm.
because they wanted to make the internet respond to he's not going to be Superman and show Warner Brothers who they are currently
In
negotiating
negotiation
with. And they also brought up JTE and Billy Business. Shout out to them again. They were like, look, Henry Cavill just had a fantastic role in Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah.
That his star meter keeps going up. His name keeps going. People are like,
Now
that's
he's got
Henry
the Witcher
Cavill.
series
Now
on-
he's
on
he's
Netflix.
doing The Witcher. He's
Yeah.
got
Right.
everybody's memeing the hell out of him.
Mhm,
Everybody's having
mhm.
fun with his mustache. Everybody is like into Henry Cavill and rooting for him. That maybe he went back to Warner Brothers and maybe his representation taking care of
Let
him.
me get
They're
some of
like,
that toy money.
they're like,
Mhm.
where's Superman 2?
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers is like, well, what about this much for just the Shazam cameo?
mhm.
And maybe his representation is going, you know what? What if no?
Mhm.
And Warner Brothers is like, we'll recast him. And Danny's going, that's what you think?
Check
Hey,
this
hey,
out.
Hey,
Hey,
Hollywood
Internet.
Reporter. Hey, Hollywood Reporter. Drop
What's
this
up?
shit 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
6 a.m.?
He's out.
You got it, boss.
We out. Poof.
Click.
And then they do it so that Warner Brothers wakes up, West Coast and goes, oh, shit. Now we have to, like, put out this fire. Now we have to. And maybe Henry Cavill said, this is an exciting day because the response of him not being Superman anymore
Because
was.
he just made millions and millions of dollars more
So,
because people are reacting this
could
way.
it-
Garbage
because of
truck just backed
Superman.
up into his driveway.
if this isn't what's happening, this is, again, the perception. Could this possibly be what is happening?
Mhm.
Could this be what is happening? Like, could it be that
It's
they
very,
are in
it's very, very
negotiations?
possible.
Yeah.
It's very, very.
I think it is
possible.
very possible, and I think I think Warner Brothers also maybe looks at Henry Cavill as an actor because he's been some of the movies he's been in for that studio have not like
Mhm.
Sure,
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
sure.
didn't really do that well.
Sure.
Army Hammer, Henry Cavill, big
Immortals.
stars. Alicia Vikander,
Mhm.
big stars.
Sure.
But I think it's probably a tactic of some kind. It wouldn't surprise me if it was
Mhm,
some sort of a
mhm.
tactic to be like, well, let's see what the audience says.
Mhm.
And when everybody goes out there and is tweeting and Instagramming of like,
Mhm.
this is bullshit, this is
Yeah.
bullshit, we want Henry as Superman, we want Henry. I did it. I
Everybody
want Henry
did.
to play Superman. I just want a better story.
That's what I said.
I don't have
like,
a problem with him.
Yes.
If this is true and he really does want out, I don't blame him
Sure.
because the reception has been so crazy. Like even Henry Cavill has said that this isn't the Superman that he was hoping for.
Yeah.
Like this is something that He signed on for
He
it.
even has gone as far as to say that they shouldn't release a Snyder cut, that it wouldn't make a difference.
Right, exactly. So if he's saying this, I don't like I want better for him. Like I want him to go on to and this is just for the man's career. Like
Yeah.
if it means dropping Superman, I'm cool with it. Like he
Sure.
gave us some beautiful stuff as Superman. I had no problems with him. I think he did a bang up job, but the dude's got to make career moves. Like
Yeah.
if he wants to move on to this megastar role, doing something like this is going to be part of it.
Plus, I think no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I
Yeah.
want to read something to you guys.
Go ahead.
If we end up
Read it.
talking about this the whole episode, then we won't talk about the other
Yeah,
stuff
that's fine.
Yeah,
because
that's
like
fine.
This is a big deal.
I just want to read you guys a Twitter thread
Sure.
from a writer named John Rogers.
Okay.
Okay.
John Rogers was the screenwriter for the movie Catwoman with Halle Berry.
Mhm.
John
Okay,
Rogers
yeah.
has talked about how obviously he knows that movie
And also,
was
we
bad.
will read all your guys' tips.
Thank
once
you.
we get through this.
So
I
the
re-
conversation's too good right now.
I really want to
Too
read this
juicy.
because John has talked about he knows this movie is bad. They didn't
Yeah.
set out to make a bad movie, but he's also worked on other stuff. He worked on Jackie Chan Adventures. He's a TV and,
Oh.
I
and
know how
movie
much you
writer.
love
so
that
like,
show.
That show
So
was real
I really like
good.
this guy on Twitter, and he drops some truth sometimes.
Okay.
He has said, he goes, number one, look, I know we're a bunch of executive generations since Catwoman, but I think I can offer an educated guess why the DCU ain't working. Nobody at that studio loves these films. So this is a thread, and again, if this isn't the case at Warner Brothers, this is the perception. This is what
Right,
Warner Brothers
right,
has to
right.
like fight right now.
We
this
talk
is,
about
this
this
is,
all the
This is the
time.
battle. This is the uphill battle that they have
Yeah.
to deal with right
Yep.
now. They
Yep.
have to do this. They have to fight this with their hands tied behind their back and being blindfolded. And
Yeah.
this is what John goes on to say. And again, he's talking about his experience with working on Catwoman, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago. 2, I spent 2.5 years of my life trying to write a Darwin Cook version of the characters. Honestly, we independently designed identical costumes, and every meeting was the same. The execs just hated being there. They were embarrassed, all caps, to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Every day in the city, somebody wakes up and says, holy fuck, I'm making a Marvel movie, or a Captain America movie, or a Black Goddamn Panther movie about goddamn time. Even the arguably best DC movies, the Nolan trilogy, comprise the Nolan trilogy. Zack Snyder was making Zack Snyder movies. His style and moral ethos radiates off them. And hey, directors drive movies. I get that. But, ... Number 5, Patty Jenkins made a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Infused with her choices, but character first. This may be a unique combination of the sexism of Hollywood and the entertainment industrial complex that got us that balance, or also Patty Jenkins is a fucking genius, or some combination.
Yeah.
6, the thing I struggled with and still occasionally struggle with is that cool and goofy are eternally snugged up against each other. A millimeter in the wrong direction and you fucked up. 7, executives don't just fear losing their jobs, they fear looking foolish. They fear being uncool. Many are not fans of the work in any way or project their own ideas of cool onto them, which vary between awkward outsider and hellish toxicity. 8, there are a lot of great, talented people at Warner Brothers, but until you get the exec who says, quote, I am going to make DC movies because goddamn I love these characters and you can, all one word, abso-fucking-lutely fire me if I fail, it just ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Number 9, he says, which ironically reinforces the idea that even in the giant blockbuster billion-dollar corporate horror world of franchise films, it still boils down to the exact same passion some indie kid needs to finish their 16mm film. So that's cool, I guess. And then he also follows us up with counterpoint. This is a different thread. Counterpoint. I am obligated to now remind you that I can recall with perfect clarity the conversation where I tried to talk Zack Snyder out of doing 300 because I thought it was unadaptable and would
Oh, wow.
derail his career.
Dang.
So maybe I'm the asshole here, just saying.
Now,
Now,
it's good to get all that context.
yes. So that thread to me, like, basically
That
goes
should be
back,
in the dictionary.
goes back to the feeling of
Uh-huh.
there are people who are very talented and they love these characters working on these movies, and there are people who are not. And like he said, you need
And
to
the people who are not are in charge.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, Patty Jenkins, she made a Wonder Woman movie, and we all fell in love with that character. And so many times, even with the directors driving the movies, Ryan Coogler came in and he was like, I want to make a movie about what it means to be African American. I grew up in the United States. What does that mean? And Marvel was like, can you do it on Black Panther? And Coogler was like, yes. So there's still, and he still understands and loves that character in that world. So again, it all just goes back to like
But think about why Coogler got that chance.
Creed.
Creed, Fruitvale
Passion.
Station.
Because somebody from Disney said, can you do this for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody from Warner Brothers is asking.
They made Creed at Warner Brothers.
Yes.
And
No,
they didn't
I know.
even keep
No,
him
no,
there.
no. I know,
Yeah.
but they
That's what I
didn't keep
mean.
him there. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
But
saying.
about
like,
superhero
so
movies.
but about
frustrating.
superhero movies,
right.
nobody
Yeah.
You're
brought
right.
him to like say,
You're right.
"Hey, Ryan
You wanna do
Coogler,
Cyborg?
you want to direct a cyborg movie? Do you want to put some of that funk on something that we have?"
because
but
because
no,
we
they
have
didn't.
it and because we want to do it.
Right,
and because
exactly.
we at least understand the potential of these characters.
Right, exactly.
You're absolutely right. It's you know it's
That's
that,
why
and-
he was able to do it at Disney, because somebody
Yeah.
gave him a chance.
Yeah.
Nobody at Warner Brothers is giving anybody any chance because they are embarrassed.
Well, we know
to be
this
at those
first. We
movies.
know this firsthand.
It's
They didn't even
frustrating.
push Creed.
No, they didn't.
It got a Golden Globe nomination, or
Sure.
he won.
Yes.
So it's
For
still
Best
one
Picture
for,
and-
for
Right.
Best Supporting Actor.
And
And
well,
it's like,
and it's
They gave him the franchise because they were like, you know what? Well, I guess we'll try it again. Everybody loves
we'll
Rocky.
give you a low budge and
yeah.
see how you do.
We'll throw you a softball.
Like, did you not see the 3 movies he fucking made, or the
we'll throw
other
you
2?
a softball,
Yeah.
homie. Hopefully you knock it out of the park, and he did. And then Marvel just fucking swooped him up.
Tessa Thompson,
God,
Ryan Coogler,
damn.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, and
Oh,
Sylvester Stallone.
It's so frustrating.
I just love the idea, and like Ludwig Göransson and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
love the
yeah.
idea though that like John Rogers is saying like you
It's
gotta
a
get
good
you,
thread.
you got to get somebody who is saying I don't care if you fire me.
Yeah.
I'm
Right,
gonna do this.
right.
If I fail, fire me. But like that sort of thrust.
Mhm.
And again, if that's not the case, and there are those decisions being made right now, where like, hey, look, we got Ava DuVernay to do New Gods. Hey, we're talking to Steven Spielberg to do Black Hawks.
Hawks, yeah.
Hey, we got do.
Mhm.
This is still the perception that Warner Brothers has to fight.
Right, right.
So, and I don't know what the answer is. Is it that you just need a Kevin Feige? Is it just let Jeff Johns do the thing? Because people have been talking about Jeff Johns in this, and some people have been saying, I think Mark Bernardin said it. He was like,
Yeah.
I feel Jeff Johns loves the characters too much and wasn't able to make changes necessary to like adapt them to
Adapted for
film.
film. Yeah.
So there's this, this shit is not easy to do,
No.
but it's just frustrating as fans because we're seeped in this world. We have been in this world since we were little kids. We've
Yeah.
watched the DC animated universe already do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's just
Does,
frustrating.
does
So
DC have enough money to buy their property back and make their own studio?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think if anybody would
You
know,
know,
They'd have to
it's-
offer them a shitload of money.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, yeah.
and,
But
and
right
it's-
now's the
Warner
time.
Brothers would have to be
Right
like,
now,
yes.
that the
I don't think
DC
so.
economy at Warner Brothers is crashing. Buy low, sell high.
I don't know.
Buy the studio
know,
back, dude.
I don't know
know.
what the answer is, dude. And it's a thing of like again, I'm excited
Can
that
you
Wonder
please
Woman.
do some detective work and get us in there?
Look,
And we will revamp the fucking thing.
look.
You can burn me
We've
if
been
I
talking
fail.
about
this.
this for
I'm
You
gonna
can
years.
say
burn
this.
me at
I'm
the
gonna say
office
this.
if I fail.
Everything we're talking about right now, I talk about it in my everyday life.
Of course you do.
I'm over at DC Daily. Those people love DC. I'm talking with my coworkers. I'm talking with people that are putting this thing together. We're talking about this stuff. I'm doing everything in my power to, and everybody with the things that we're doing,
Right.
we're all on the same page.
Right.
But I have had conversations where I'm like, I've had conversations with as high up as people that
As
I
you
can
can
go,
talk
yeah,
to, which
yeah.
is not very high. But
Sure.
the thing of like, hey, we don't even know the name of the universe, and I want to know because I'm a fan. And the answer I've
What do
gotten
I call this thing?
the answer I've gotten has usually been, hey, that's also above my pay grade.
Yeah.
That's a, you know what I mean? Like that's a thing
Right.
that,
No, exactly.
that we're waiting for theatrical to sort of do.
That's another problem. Everything is so compartmentalized.
It is and it isn't. But yes.
I think they're working on
I
it.
mean, you're
Yeah.
at a point where you're working for DC, but you're not going to break out of that bubble because
sure.
there's no ports to jump over to
Yeah.
animation, and
that's
there's
not-
no ports to jump into the
Right.
theater. the
unless
theatrical stuff.
unless those certain, speaking of that, like Augustine, like I know in the 90s,
Right.
comic book DC went and grabbed Paul Dini to do a comic book, and he was an animation guy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
No,
there is
absolutely.
that crossover, but that
Absolutely.
crossover needs to happen like from within. Like those people need to be reaching across the
Exactly.
aisle,
exactly.
as it were.
But they're
Also,
compartmentalized.
Sometimes it
and
happens. Comic book
There's
writers
no communication
right,
between the.
but
Yeah.
a lot of comic book writers like Sterling Gates was a Supergirl comic book writer. He's working on the Flash show or Supergirl show. I forget when he's writing for and like written episodes
Supergirl,
for.
I think.
I think so. Like the TV people, I feel like the
Yeah.
TV people, they're doing the things
Well,
we're
because
describing.
I feel like they figured out how to
Yeah.
balance it out between like
Yes.
passionate people who love the characters, but also
Absolutely.
like creative
they,
and talented
they go
directors
and
and
get
writers.
Kevin Smith
Yeah.
to direct an
Exactly.
episode.
Yeah.
They go into, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because so
Yep.
that's
Yep.
happening.
Yeah.
But it's still a thing of, and movies are different, and movies take years to make, and there's millions of dollars
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
around, and it's easy for all of us, Monday quarterbacks to
Yeah,
be sitting here
that's
calling
true.
the plays, but all we're saying is like this is the perception,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
yeah.
we as fans just want to like, we're rooting for this thing.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
I-
rooting for this
I'm
thing.
100% rooting for all of this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe we have to go through these pains to like finally get to a place where we get something that we all
I'm
can
gonna start
accept.
bleeding internally if I have to go through any more of this pain.
We
You have to bleed a
there's
little
been-
bit to have a good
There's
baby.
been
though.
so many attempts
Hey,
at
hey, hey,
Superman
hey.
already.
I'll say this: we're fans, not just
Yeah.
of these characters, but like in period.
Yeah.
We've gone through ups and downs with every aspect of our franchise. Remember
Yeah.
when Star Wars was bad? Remember when the prequels were? You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
remember
mean
that?
Christmas special?
Yeah, the Christmas
Uh,
special, and then you know, like, so like Star Trek has gone through
Right.
things of like it's
Right.
canceled. There's no show or movie happening. What?
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
bleak. What's happening? You know, like you know, the first Star Trek movie came out. That's great. J.J. Abrams, Into Darkness. Oh,
Mhm.
cool. Khan's a white guy. Like it's this. It's all
Of
compromise.
course, there's ups and downs.
My
too.
brothers, we know what this feeling is, right? We
Absolutely.
got Spider-Man movies. Ugh, it's Tobey Maguire, and they kill the villains.
Oh,
But-
Spider-Man 2 and then
Eh,
Spider-Man 3.
Yes, yes, and then it's like Andrew Garfield. Oh,
Yeah.
those movies are not good.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Homecoming.
he's coming to Marvel.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
But like they're doing Venom without him. Like you know, even now.
Now rated PG-13.
You see what I'm saying?
To
Like
give hope that they'll fight each other
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah.
this is the thing
yeah.
we're used to. We're used to this. This is maybe how it will always be.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs
you know,
to be
the
ups and
pendulum
downs.
will swing.
There always needs
know?
to be ups and downs.
Yeah.
Thanos said it. There needs to be balance. Everything is going to be. Everything is eventually going to
Damn it,
balance
Thanos.
itself out.
Perfectly
Thanos was
balanced.
right, you guys. Thanos
Yeah.
was right. His means weren't
right.
but he was right.
Yeah.
But no, I
Uh.
agree with you, Hector. Like there does need to be that, but the only problem is DC has been on such a backswing that we're looking for that momentum to
Sure.
go forward and
Sure.
come back into
And-
into what we
Yeah.
all three of us know it can be.
Maybe it will be Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2. It'll be this 1-2-3 punch of we are getting the gang back together.
And then Flash.
I mean, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
But then we don't know what's happening in this Batman movie, though.
man.
They won't. They
we know
they
nothing.
refuse to
Adam,
say whether or
you
not Ben
couldn't be
Affleck.
happy for 1 second. I just said we got
I
we
know.
got 3
No.
movies.
We're trying to be-
But you're not wrong. You're not
no,
wrong.
you're not
you know?
wrong. You're not wrong. And we have to think about that. But
Yeah.
maybe this is the kick that we need. Maybe we don't focus on Superman for a
I'm
while.
sweating. I'm so mad.
Maybe we don't focus on Batman because we know we're suffering a little bit from bat fatigue. Like
Oh, for sure.
seeing all
Sure.
the
We have a
same
Titan
Batman
show and there's
stuff
2
over and
Robins
over.
on the fucking thing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So what if we focus on the positive? Let's focus on Wonder Woman and build something off of that. Then
Yeah.
you think about, okay, how can we tie in the rest of the Justice League to that main storyline that Wonder Woman is dropping?
Yeah.
You know?
It's just frustrating to me because Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are the building blocks of the DC universe.
Right. Now see,
Right.
we know this.
Yeah.
But movie studio doesn't know this
They,
because
they
movie
probably
studio
don't care.
Right, because movie studio looks at this and goes, "We've had Superman films, we've had Batman films, so we get that.
Mhm.
So we're going to do it again. Oh, this didn't work out? Well, let's put them on the back burner."
Mhm.
Whereas comic book fans are going, "But those are the pillars. That
Right.
is the structure from whence everything else branches off
Yeah.
of.
Right.
You want to make Nightwing with Chris McKay, you want to do Batgirl
Mhm.
with
I don't think they're doing that
you know,
anymore.
you want to do it's like you want to do, you know, Supergirl, you want to do Steel, you want to, you know, do all these different things. That's great. They branch off
They
from
come from.
the core pillars
Of
of
course
you know,
they do.
Superman and his lore,
I-
Batman and his lore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. But given the state
Don't
that
you
we're
butt
in,
me.
given the
Yeah.
state that we're in right now,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of straws to grasp at this
Yeah.
point. And the thing they have going for them is the women in power right now with
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's follow that thread.
So let me ask you a question. Can you do this? Go forward, keeping Wonder Woman, and go from there without doing a drastic reboot and a definitive reboot? And can you just kind of go forward and sort of like brush things under the rug and sort of ignore events of movies?
That's why
Like
I
the
brought,
X-Men franchise, I guess. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
can relate this to like
Right.
Fox's X-Men
Yeah,
franchise.
I mean,
Which is
you
all over
could.
the place.
You could.
yes.
And so that's why I brought up the fact that Batman had so little to do with the beginning of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
just like a Wayne Enterprises truck,
which is
and
great
Then, and then
Man
the
of
picture,
Steel did that too.
the picture
Yeah.
popping up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
because that's still
it's-
the world.
yes, exactly. It's so vague, and we ended Wonder Woman not even worrying about what the fuck Superman was doing.
Yeah.
You know, not even worrying about what the
Unnecessary.
fuck. Yeah, like
She's in Paris.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like we don't.
She got that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So like we are so focused on that it's possible. I'm not saying it's a good idea,
Mhm.
but it's possible to just say, hey, maybe she was interacting with a different version of Batman at that point.
Oh,
Maybe
sure.
she was interacting
Yeah.
with a different version of Superman during her, wanting to form the Justice League days. Now, there's writers smarter than me that can probably figure out a better
Right.
way to do it,
Right.
but that's maybe a direction that they can head in.
Follow-up question, because
Yeah.
I want to keep going off of what because I feel like you're the idea man right now.
I feel like I am.
You're
I've
providing
been thinking
us-
about this a lot.
You're providing us with the solutions we need.
Right. I'm trying
Okay.
to think of the positives
yes,
here.
because
God bless
ultimately,
you.
us fans, like, we're fucking frustrated. We're stuck. It feels like we're
yeah.
stuck. So you're going, how do we get out of here?
Right,
What's
exactly.
the light at the
Let's
end of the
look
tunnel?
forward.
So follow-up question. Boom. Let's say that either you are the writer or you're the person hiring the writer that's like going to pitch it to a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell that person or do you yourself go, okay, you have to take into account everything that happened since Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2. Give us a new Batman, give us a new Superman. Or are you going to tell that person, you're off the hook? That Batman never happened? Matt Reeves, if you want to do the Batman movie where he's 25 and there has never been a Robin that died and and he's not the Ben Affleck character who experienced what he experienced, go for it. What do you do? Are you saying, do you do the version of let's stay true to the DC Films franchise, whatever it's called, let's pay tribute to it, or do you just go, let's move on, people, let's move on? Like
for me,
X-Men. Yeah.
just because you guys know I don't like to hang on to clutter, I would cut ties.
Okay.
I would cut ties, and mainly because
That might be what ends up happening.
exactly, and,
This is
and
a
mainly
very
because
possible thing.
we have Ben Affleck who's going through some tough times right now. We can't count on him coming back as Batman, and I don't want him to come back unless
Sure.
he's well. So
That's another thing JTE and Billy Business said. They're like, if this man is in rehab and he's doing stuff, go
Let him be.
Go,
Yeah.
let him go
Do your thing, homie.
live your life.
get better.
Like
I wish him
absolutely.
all the well. And
Absolutely.
so what we have now is a Superman who is not confirmed either way.
Yeah.
we don't know what exactly is going to happen.
might be into it, might be negotiating, might be trying to cut because he's frustrated that there's no Superman film. So he's like, I don't want to wait around.
He's like,
I don't want to
guys,
wait around.
what do you guys
I
have
got
me
other
on
things
here
to
for?
do.
Sure.
We have Gal Gadot, who is 100% into this role.
Going.
Patty Jenkins, who made an amazing movie. She's
Going.
in it 150%.
Also, we do
this
have The
is-
Rock, who has not made a movie after 5 years of being announced as Black Adam.
Right. So this is why I say you cut you cut the past. You're just like, you know what? This is going to be sort of a soft reboot.
Yeah.
The Wonder Woman franchise didn't really establish any characters, even though she was in Justice League
You're
and
actually
Batman
right
vs
now,
Superman.
dude.
It literally could be the beginning of a new universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could be the beginning. And if there's
Like how I wish they did with Deadpool, where if Disney really did buy Fox and all that shit goes, it's a fucking monopoly. But the silver lining is like, yeah, we're gonna have characters you like in our movies,
Right.
and we're gonna do them right.
Right.
My hope is like, cool, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 were the first of this,
New.
X-Men in the MCU
exactly.
continuity
Exactly.
to just scoot them over.
Yep.
But keep going. So
But yeah, so that's what you kind of have to grab onto, because there's momentum behind that movie. There's momentum behind the actor and the director. And so at this point, like,
and bring over Momoa. And
I mean,
the Aquaman
there's
cast.
really no reason to not bring him over. I would
Sure.
even have Ezra Miller back as the Flash.
Sure.
Like I
He still hasn't
enjoyed his
gotten a movie
portrayal.
yet.
Exactly.
Ray Fisher as Cyborg.
Right, Ray Fisher as Cyborg.
J.K. Simmons is Commissioner fucking Gordon.
Commish?
Yeah, only if he's buff though. Like he's got to bring the guns again. If he doesn't bring the guns, I don't want him.
So good.
Yeah,
like,
no.
have him in a movie where he's
Yeah.
basically the co-lead. Like,
Right.
He's so good. Okay.
Exactly. And
Okay.
honestly, me personally, I love the whole ideals and the whole mission statement behind Wonder Woman, where it's like Wonder what was the
Power,
3Ws? Wonder,
hope.
Power,
Yes,
Hope,
yes.
like all
Yeah.
that. Build your universe off of that, because there's nothing more DC than those things that Wonder
you mean
Woman was
do
stating.
what the comics do?
What?
What a concept!
Okay.
What? Who said that? But
Okay.
no,
Not an
that's
executive, that's for sure.
That's all I'm saying. Like, if there is anything you can salvage from right now, and I'm saying this mainly because I don't want Gal Gadot to like not be Wonder Woman
Sure.
anymore, you know?
Sure.
Because
those two, her and Patty Jenkins, have like earned that spot to
Right.
like
absolutely
Right.
have
Yeah.
a huge impact on what
Like,
happens.
they
in the
Proven
fucking
universe.
track
earned
record.
it, yeah.
Proven track record.
And not only them, but just like all these people who found this new role model in those characters, in both of them.
When you find an actor like that who can do that with a character, and
Right.
everyone in the world is
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is the potential of this universe. You
Yes.
definitely don't get rid of them. You
You
keep
don't
them.
s-
You
don't
double
get
down
rid of
on
that.
it. You're
That
like,
would be absolutely stupid.
That's why they ended up greenlighting a Wonder Woman 2 that
Hindsight
fast.
POV, Hindsight POV had a great comment in the chat that said if the DCEU or this film franchise did like a hard reboot, it could be seen as embarrassing because the MCU has
course.
continued to. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think what Augustine, what you're pitching, is kind of like best case scenario.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean? If they
Looking
don't
at it
want to get,
positively.
if they don't want to get bogged down by the things
Right.
that they established, the things meaning like, Superman is 33 years old
Mhm.
or a few years older than that. He died and came back.
Mhm.
He works at, the Daily Planet, and Lois Lane knows his secret identity, which I actually like. Hold on to that. Batman is older than everyone. He had a Robin that died. The Robin was hinted at it being Jason Todd, but then Zack Snyder like semi-confirmed on that app that no one is on that
Right.
social media platform
Right.
that it was Dick Grayson, right? That it was Dick
Right.
Grayson Robin.
Right.
Those kinds of things where it's like, like Lex Luthor is Jesse Eisenberg, and his father, caused him to be the way that he is, and he recruited Deathstroke, played by
Manganiello.
John Manganiello.
Mhm.
Joe Manganiello at the post credits, and this happened to Steppenwolf showed up, so Darkseid is still coming,
Mhm.
but Steppenwolf, like a Green Lantern was on Earth thousands of years ago, but there's those kinds of things where it's like, if filmmakers don't want to play in that, and it seems like Patty Jenkins for the most part didn't in
Mhm.
Wonder Woman
She
Yeah.
didn't. No.
by omitting actor cameos. Now
Mhm.
name cameos are in it.
Right.
And somebody said, cut out Batman versus Superman, Suicide Squad, Justice League, and the
Mhm.
third act of Wonder Woman. Because I guess, like, what was the third act? It was like Ares and, like,
Ares, yeah.
which is,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
were like,
yeah.
that's very Zack
It's-
Snydery, the way
yeah.
that, I'm like, that's
That's
like,
fine.
whatever.
I can live with that.
yeah,
um,
I'm okay with that too.
This might be, because it is there's a lot of rules already set up that are
Mhm.
kind of like hard to do stuff if you
Yeah.
lose, again, those two pillars.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they
You
basically
rebuild
already,
those pillars.
well, they already changed the rule set anyway because
Yeah.
in Batman vs Superman they established she's been gone for 70 years.
Exactly.
And now they're
yes.
making
What
an
are they
80s
gonna
Wonder
do?
Woman movie. Oh, never mind.
What are they
Just
going to
kidding.
do with that? Like,
Which Gal
They're just
Gadot
completely ignoring it.
herself said in an interview, she's like, I'll be honest, some of the creative decisions that were made were not some of the best ones for the character,
exactly.
and we're changing and we're evolving and we're
Right,
adapting. She was
right.
brutally honest, and it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, so things have already in its own in continuity.
Yeah.
The same as Marvel, they've kind of had to rejigger some
fudge
stuff.
it.
Like
Yeah,
they
of
fudged
course.
it. They had to
Yeah.
come out with the one shots to explain, like, oh, Tony Stark was trying to get the Abomination, not the Hulk.
Mhm,
Like, who?
mhm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, people will be letting it slide if it works.
If
Yeah.
it
Like,
works.
if
Yeah.
you throw out this badass story in which
Oh,
instead
somebody
of-
said the third act they killed all the gods.
oh
For like Wonder Woman's pantheon of
yeah,
gods,
yeah.
Oh,
they,
okay.
like Ares killed them all
Yeah.
or
Right.
whatever. So
right,
Okay.
think of it as sort of a reverse Batman versus Superman. Wonder Woman's having this badass adventure, and then Superman and Batman kind of come in like bap bap bap, knock it out of the park, help her win, and she's like, "What's going on here? Like, I don't know this." That could be sort of a way to kind
Yeah.
of introduce these characters.
yeah,
you know?
because if you here's what's interesting. Depending on what Aquaman's going to do, we don't know what Aquaman's going to do. But yeah,
No,
Wonder
we have
Woman
no idea.
took place in 1919 or whatever. Like
1917.
what's that? 1917, World War One.
Yeah.
Then you have Wonder Woman 1984. That is all still technically before Superman shows up
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
in the
I
modern
think he
era.
lands in like
in
1985,
1985, but like
okay.
he comes out publicly in
2013.
2013. So it's
Okay.
like you could still say that in a future DC film that
Right.
like Superman first shows up on the scene and Wonder Woman's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm Kal-El of Krypton. You
Yeah.
can call me Superman." And then like Bruce Wayne is like, "Now's a good time for me to be a vigilante." And he's
Exactly.
like the 25-year-old guy, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Who are you?" And they're
Right.
like, "Hey, I'm Bruce Wayne, and I am a vigilante in Gotham
Right.
City. And in about 5 years, I'm gonna adopt a 12-year-old." You
And
could
I'm gonna
start.
force him to work.
Yeah, you could kind of start doing that a little
Go
bit.
make your money, mijo.
And by then,
Mira,
but
but
then,
on these chonies, mira.
no, but then Shazam has already established like Superman landed in 2013
Yeah.
and he died and came back.
Right.
and
That's
he
why
did,
you
did,
cut
did,
that
did.
shit. Like you're writing yourself into a
You
corner.
can't now though, because Shazam is part of that universe.
I mean, you
Unless,
can,
again,
really,
unless-
you
unless
just fudge the rules.
Sure.
Shazam 2, you fudge the rules.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
You just sort of have Shazam.
And to go back to what I wanted to say is that if the movie is good, people will forgive that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
not like no other movie has fudged the rules and made a
Yeah.
successful franchise.
Yeah,
Like
that's
things
true.
have worked. Marvel, Star Wars, like all
Yeah.
everybody has fudged the
Oh,
rules.
Star
now.
Wars has completely changed continuity. Like,
exactly,
Now,
right?
I want to call this comment. We're already we're already done with the show. We're still talking
mean,
about
welcome to the
basically,
DC
yeah,
episode of
I know, right?
Hyperheroes.
Joka Milky Way says, what if they went full hardcore reboot with Flashpoint and maybe that can give them some room to plan something new? I would love to shut this down right now. Like, I think that a
Mhm.
Flashpoint would be one of the worst ideas to
It gets
try
rid of
to.
literally everything.
Yes, but also Flashpoint
Right.
is just convoluted continuity that
For
you're
convoluted comic book
that you're,
sake.
Let's make
that
people
you're
more
j- that you're
confused.
jamming into
Yeah.
Right.
regular movie-going audiences.
Right.
You know what I mean? Into their world.
You need
That's
to build
all it
to
is.
that.
Is in a way to try to excuse things that Augustine just described that like movies have been doing since the beginning of movies, which
Right.
is they're just fudging it and making it up as they go along.
Right.
Who cares? But comic book fans, myself included, we're
Right.
so wrapped up in continuity that we
Right.
see these problems and we're like, the only thing we can do is Flashpoint. The only thing we can do is Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Anti-Monitor. The Anti-Monitor's the answer. Now look.
No.
The reason that works in comic books is because it's comic books. It's
Yep.
a different
Yeah.
medium,
Yep.
and they're working with 70-plus years of
And
continuity.
the reason you know that works is because you've read the 30 issues
yes,
beforehand.
yes. So like that, I think I know that comic book fans are like, we figured it out. They
Yep.
already have one built into DC. It's called Flashpoint.
Mhm.
No, Flashpoint is the last Flash story I recommend to people.
Flashpoint is the
You
event
know?
that happens when you introduce Captain America to Superman in the same movie.
Yeah. Thank you. That
The
is
amalgam
yeah.
film.
JLA
Yeah.
Avengers. I
Yeah.
agree. That's Justice
Yeah.
League versus Avengers is what that would be, because that has to deal with like Kronos and
Exactly.
you know, and like the Grandmaster, like
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
e-
It's not a small
eternity.
event. No.
Right.
An example
so,
of how to lose all your entire audience.
yeah, dude. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that would be the best plan, and I think that it's hard for comic book fans to let that idea go. That's just let the movie do it, and we'll just because X-Men
Yeah.
have already been doing it.
Right.
You know
They
what I
have
mean?
been. Like the rules
the
are
f- yeah,
fudged
the
completely.
first X-Men movie said like Charles Xavier's like, I met a man named Eric Lenscher when I was 18 or something, and it's like that wasn't in X-Men First
Not
Class.
in first class.
So it's like, who the fuck cares?
It
Nobody
doesn't
cares.
matter.
Yeah,
Who
no,
cares?
it's a
Yeah.
small detail
know?
that we don't care about, and you
And
easily
even,
forget.
even if
You
it's
just let the movie
even if
happen.
it's a bigger detail where it's like, hey, how come he never said, hey, how come Charles Xavier never said anything that he grew up with Mystique? Who cares?
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
even
I
X-Men:
mean?
The Last Stand, they go back to 1983. They show the flashback, and they're old. They're so old.
yeah, it's all fucked up.
It
And
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
I think there's a lot to be salvaged from Superman, at least. If Ben Affleck doesn't come back, that's one thing.
I
what
agree.
you guys
I
are
agree.
asking DC to do is to stop / change the scripts of Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Shazam, which will have cameos of Batman and Superman in order for the reboot
They
to
don't
work.
have
No,
cameos.
No, they don't
I mean,
have cameos.
as far as
we
we
know, they don't have cameos.
we're
in
not
characters.
saying that. We're saying like after the movies that are already
Yeah.
in production,
Exactly.
like just whatever their plan is going forward.
After Shazam or Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2, now what?
They have things
basically?
announced that they're working
Right,
on,
right,
but
right.
no dates, no,
Mhm,
that's all we're
mhm,
saying is like
mhm.
the kind of moving forward plan.
Yeah. I think there's
So-
a lot you can still salvage with Superman.
I
There's
think
a story
there
that you
is.
can tell that's a sequel that gives people the Superman
Bro.
that they kind of want.
It's
Uh-oh.
Jeff Loveness. It's my buddy Jeff Loveness. Did you guys see his tweet?
No.
No, what happened?
Jeff Loveness, who is a comic book writer, he's written Superman a little bit. He's written Nova, which was great. He's written so much stuff. He tweeted out, and it is now 3.8K likes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the timing wasn't right for a movie about an immigrant refugee journalist fighting a deranged billionaire in the name of truth itself. Next time, Superman.
Next
like,
time.
Again, this is the perception. Jeff nails it.
Yeah.
There is no better time on the
Yeah.
planet in history
Yep.
for there to be a Superman film that is just
Right.
Superman versus Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Like
I
that's,
was literally thinking about it this morning.
like
I was
even
thinking
if
about
it-
this
like,
morning.
fine, Jesse Eisenberg, fucking bring him back.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't care.
Everybody would be fine with it if
Yeah.
it's Superman versus Lex Luthor,
Yep.
and this is the pitch. If it is
And
a-
Lex Luthor is the president.
yes, because that happened in the comic book. I don't want to kiss you right now. That's exactly.
There was a smooch happening there. I felt it. I felt it. Yeah.
And then Jeff says
Yeah.
to follow up, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on Superman, read this. And he posts like his few pages of Superman just being a dude,
Yeah.
and a dude and a Metropolis citizen handing him a burrito, and he's like, "Thanks, man." Like, and he says,
Is it
"Read
California?
this."
It is. It is.
It
I
might
can
be.
confirm it
It
is.
is.
It can
I
confirm
can
it.
confirm it is.
He
yeah.
says, "Read this, or have a conversation with me over 6 minutes. I am empty within." That's Jeff Loveness. He loves Superman.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The only way to go from here is to just fudge the rules and hang on to Wonder Woman. Hang on for
Guys.
dear life.
I love Superman so much.
I know.
We do too, and I love Wonder
Help me
Woman,
out
and I
here.
love
Yes,
Batman,
exactly.
and
Help me
I
out
love,
here, Warner Brothers.
I
Look.
love Martian Manhunter.
Oh,
I
I
love
know.
Plastic
Green
Man. I
Lantern.
love Booster Gold. I
Yeah.
love Blue Beetle. I love the Teen Titans.
Mhm.
I love the Doom Patrol.
Mhm.
I love fucking Checkmate. I love, I'm doing deep cuts now.
Yeah.
Argus, Star Labs,
Deeper.
Bibbo Bibowski,
Oh my God.
I love Lobo. I love, do you know what I'm saying? I love the challenges of the unknown. I love Cave Carson.
If sci-fi can put Brainiac on a non-Superman Superman show, then a movie can do it.
Yeah. It's very possible. There just needs to be some out-of-the-box thinking at Warner Brothers at this point.
I know.
Are we going to talk about anything else? Because we've been talking about this for an hour.
Do we want to do the rest of this?
No, I think we can just say.
I think we've said everything we needed to
I
say.
think we're good. This was the news topic of the week, and I
know.
needed this conversation because I've been having this conversation with myself in my
Me
head
too.
for like the past.
Oh,
too, man.
same. I
3 or
woke
4
up
days.
yesterday and I was like,
What?
I need to
I know.
talk to someone about this. Help!
I crashed at Abby's place, and I woke up, and she got up and had breakfast stuff, and I was in bed, and
You
I
were
was on
crying in
Twitter,
bed.
and I was just like,
Oh my God.
I had to stop
Just like-
myself from tweeting all day.
yeah.
me too. And I could tell this was big news because Abby went on her computer,
Right.
and she shouts to me, she goes, Henry Cavill's not going to be, and I was already like, yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was already like, yes.
You're like
I
pooping
am
your
on
own.
it. I was like, yes, and I know everything one could possibly know about this at this time. And I'm like, I was like, yes, I can't wait to talk to Adam and Augie about it. Yeah.
Let's just move on to the cool people at the in the chat room
Oh,
who
yeah,
donated
yeah.
money.
You
'Cause,
guys,
they
yeah, you
deserve
guys.
they deserve their.
So what are your guys'
Again-
final thoughts on this?
Edward
fucking-
Boyard. What if it was Dr. Manhattan that was screwing with everything? No, Doomsday Clock is dope. It's a comic book.
Yeah,
It works as a great.
We're not there yet.
It works
we
as a
need
great-
to establish something.
No,
No.
no.
Y'all are stressing me out.
Wonder Woman's the answer, guys.
What about Michael B. Jordan as Superman?
Oh,
Fucking sure, man.
that
but
was
like,
okay.
I
So
want.
that is the one thing I did want to bring up. So that's interesting. If they're gonna do Calvin Ellis Superman from Earth 23,
Now, you see, I love and hate that idea.
I love it because it's
Yeah.
like if you're embracing the Elseworld stories,
Dope.
sure, but
I want proper Superman also.
You need to establish who Superman is.
Elseworlds is effective. Superman Red Sun is a movie. Could not work right now because we have not gotten like Superman Yellow Sun. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I just want like a
We need
regular
a boy
Yeah.
first.
Earth One
Yeah.
Right.
or whatever
Well-established,
the thing.
modern,
and then,
current
and
Superman.
I love that idea too, but I also am kind of bummed that a lot of people went straight to that as opposed to like,
Yeah.
well, Michael B. Jordan could also just be Clark Kent. The
Yeah.
defense of like
Exactly.
he's a Kryptonian. He could also look like a black dude, and that would also give an interesting,
Right.
added layer
Yeah,
to
right,
like.
right.
Although I think that the added layer of an alien comes to
Yeah.
America and happens to look like a blue-eyed, black-haired white guy.
Right.
Of course, people are gonna love him. There's something there too.
Yeah.
There's something to talk about with
Of
that,
course.
as opposed
Of
to
course.
other superhero characters that maybe
Yeah.
the DC universe doesn't love and embrace as much. But again, we have a Superman that even hasn't been embraced. So
exactly.
it's like,
Exactly.
it would almost be a waste to have an incredibly beautifully talented actor like Michael B. Jordan to
Right.
play Black Superman because it's like, but y'all didn't play enough with like what white Superman in Americana is. Do
Yeah,
you see what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
And also, what if Michael B. Jordan was just John Stewart Green Lantern? Like, just give me
Let's
fucking Green
have
Lantern.
him be Green Lantern.
He
Green
would,
Lantern.
he would shut it down.
Oh,
he would,
absolutely.
He would be. I'm getting stressed out about
I
this.
know. I know. Let's
My
move on.
palms are
Let's
sweating.
move on to
So
the
much.
fan.
Okay.
Let's say people
Mom's
in the
Taylor
chat,
Jensen,
please.
Tanner Jensen, $5 tip. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you so
guys
much.
rock. This is super off topic, but what are y'all? But are y'all pumped for Daredevil season 3?
Yeah.
The short teaser has me stoked.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the short
I
teaser
haven't
yet.
seen the short teaser either.
I would say Daredevil is my favorite series out
Yeah.
of the Marvel Netflix shows, so I'm the
I'm
most
gonna-
enthusiastic.
I'm gonna cheat and say Defenders just because I got everybody,
Mhm,
but that's not a real
mhm,
answer.
that's not
my
a
real
bitch.
my real answer is also probably Daredevil.
Yeah.
But Punisher was dope, and I
Punisher
still
was
really
dope,
like
yeah.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Nobody saw season 2, but I
I
watched
saw
it
season
and dug
2.
it. I dug it.
It was okay.
Fair.
My tube
That's
is better
fair.
20. Thank you so much for the $5 tip. Love the show, guys. If Warner Brothers was to bring in Val Zod, who would you cast other than Michael B. Jordan? What about Trevante Rhodes from Moonlight?
Sure, he'd be great. I don't care about Val Zod right now. I love, you know what I'm saying? Like I care
Give
about
me
Kal-El.
Superman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
into the enthusiasm, but I don't want to keep playing what ifs with like,
Yeah.
what if they brought in this side character?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm just like, it just makes me sad. I
Mhm,
just
mhm.
want, focus on space. Like,
The rest of that shit, we'll get that.
yeah.
Again, Hector, if you can just set up a meeting, we'll go and we'll
Dude,
pitch
Yeah.
Superman.
You know.
Because it's not that hard.
I am doing everything I can without like burning bridges.
And
Yeah,
I know,
no, without being
and I know there's
pushy,
going to be
I'm
people who
a
are going to
nice
watch this.
boy. I'm
Yeah.
a nice
I know
boy.
there's going to be those salty people who are going to watch this like, I would never want you two to make a Superman movie.
Yeah.
I
of
will
course.
suffocate
I
you
would-
with hope,
I-
justice, and
I-
optimism,
I
motherfucker.
wouldn't want to either. I'd want to find
Put it
the
on a
right
t-shirt.
person to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm
too.
not the right person,
Mm-mm.
but
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I would want to find the person.
But I
there
think the
is,
key, I think the key is to like go into a meeting with a whiteboard and ask people in that room, all those executives, what is Superman?
I feel like we would good.
What
I
is
feel
the
like we
meaning?
would be good like coordinators, executive coordinators.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marcus
We
Estrada.
would be
I
the
found you guys
council.
2 weeks ago and have watched
We
almost
would be
all
the
Hyper
council.
Heroes episodes. Thank you so
Wow,
much.
man, that's awesome.
Hey, Marcos, welcome, buddy.
David Blonde, thank you so much for the $4.99 tip. Congrats on DC Daily, Hector.
Thank
Cavill
you.
will be fine either way, but we'd love to see him get to be the Superman he always wanted to be.
Absolutely.
I agree. I
agree.
think everyone agrees on that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just want
Henry-
I want Henry
look,
to be happy.
I want every one of those actors to be able to,
Yeah.
like have a movie or role come out where they're like, "This is." I want Ray Fisher to be like, "I got a cyborg movie," or even if, and I liked him in Justice League.
Mhm.
I want there to be a project that comes out that if one of those actors is in it, to everybody just be stoked about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know, that's sure.
T-Toner Aguilar, I think for Henry Marvel should give him a contract because what WB did was stupid to drop him off. He could be Captain Britain for Marvel.
Yeah, a
that's
lot of
what-
people have been saying
Yeah,
that.
that's what
That'd be-
fans
that'd be
went
cool,
right
but-
to, or the
Sure.
Sentry, which is like a
Mhm.
Sure, sure,
Superman,
sure.
analog in the Marvel universe,
Sentry's
or
boring, though, dude.
Hyperion, or
Yeah.
I've read some Sentry stuff that is very interesting and cool.
Yeah.
And if a great writer took it and wrote a script for the MCU, like
Yeah.
I think it could be great.
It could
but
be, yeah.
you know, that's also real petty. That's that Marvel DC shit.
I think
Right, and the only
Yeah.
reason you would need to bring Sentry on is to stop the Hulk. Really?
Yeah, it's like, look,
But you're not establishing a strong Hulk right
in
now.
in
Yeah.
each of those comic book universes, they both have Marvel and DC analogs that they like to tell stories with, to be able to say things about their rivals or each other,
Mhm.
which is really great. The ultimate to me was when they actually crossed over JLA
Yeah.
Avengers, where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can say they each said the best and worst thing about themselves,
Yeah.
which was so fun. But
Yeah.
like, I don't want some of that shit to spill over into movie land.
Sure.
Because there's not 75 years of DC movies
yeah.
and 75 years of Marvel movies where it's
Yeah.
kind of an equal playing
Right,
field.
right,
Like,
right.
I don't want Marvel to all of a sudden be like, we got Henry Cavill. It's like, don't, man. It's like, okay, well, they got Patty Jenkins. Like,
Yeah,
shut the fuck
exactly.
up. Don't
Yeah.
don't do that. Just do
Right,
do
right.
Marvel and do DC before
Yeah.
you're like, we're gonna out DC.
It's
Like,
not like
don't do that.
collecting Pokemon cards.
don't do
Well,
that shit.
I think again, I think that's the key that it comes down to, and we know this from other Batman movies, like Batman and Robin. They talk about like, oh, this was just a big toy movie.
Yeah,
It's about selling
yeah,
toys,
exactly.
toys, merchandise.
Sure.
Exactly.
Obviously, the merchandise is super important to the revenue of these franchises and all that sort of stuff. But again, I think it really comes down to
Mm-hmm.
sitting down, and I think with Wonder Woman they kind of figured it out, and I think a lot of that the credit goes to Patty Jenkins, Jeff Johns,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and really figuring out the core of the character. Who is this character? What do they represent?
Yep.
And I don't feel like it's been done enough with some of these characters.
No.
Sure.
I think that's why for me the Nolan trilogy works, because I feel like Nolan, as a writer director, really figured out, if I'm going to do this, I need to figure out the core. What is this character? Who is this character?
Especially in the sense of, if he didn't want to go full blown comic book with
Yeah.
it.
Which Batman Begins is the most comic book of those three movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
is.
is with Scarecrow, and
Yeah.
it's got some like cheesy lines where the guy looks at his coffee when
Yeah.
the Batmobile comes
Yeah.
by. I love that shit.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Gordon goes, I gotta get me one of those.
Yeah.
And he's,
Does it come
Um,
in black?
fine. If he didn't want to go full on comic book,
Sure.
where people were like, "Are you gonna do Robin?" and he's like, "No, that's dumb." He at least found some core essences
Yeah.
Mhm.
with a lot of those characters to get to be able to
Some
work
of the
in
defining
his
elements of Batman.
in his like vision, which was realistic.
Yeah.
We're shooting in Chicago. We're shooting in New York. I
Yeah.
want this shit to
Pittsburgh,
be
whatever,
real.
yeah. Right,
Pittsburgh.
right.
So fair. At least he, sucked some essences and was like,
Yeah.
this works in the Christopher Nolan universe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it
Which
wasn't
is totally fine.
full-blown.
If you are going into it with the intention of not making a shared universe, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's adaptation. That's compromise. That to get to the end goal of
Yeah.
like good movie.
But if you're doing
Yeah.
a shared universe, you need to
Yeah, dude.
establish the core basics of all the characters, but then you
Mhm.
also need to find what are the little things that we can put into these movies that establishes
Right.
that this is a shared. Man, I thought Man of Steel did it really well. You had the
Yeah.
Wayne satellite, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
all you needed to do.
Right.
And-
Okay,
and-
Bruce
and-
Wayne exists.
And Man of Steel being the first one
Yeah.
makes sense because that is the order of events
Mhm.
in
Comics.
so many versions of
Yeah.
DC lore. Superman comes out first. Then Wonder Woman a little bit after that
Mhm.
comes from Themyscira. Then or a little bit before Wonder Woman and a little bit after Superman, Bruce Wayne's like, shit, this guy beat me to it. I've been working on this and now I'm ready and I'm in Gotham. Like
yeah.
that's the order of events. So Superman, Man of Steel being the first one, it was like the world's open. It could be
Mhm,
anything.
mhm,
And then the decision to go, well, what if Batman has always been around?
Mhm.
Right.
And I feel like some of that may have been with, and if this is incorrect, this is the perception that Warner Brothers has to fight, that initially they were like, we're going to bring back Christian Bale.
Mhm.
We're going to approach him. We're going to say, here's the deal. Here's the truckload of money. We want you to come back as Batman to meet Henry Cavill. And we'll say that the Batman Nolan trilogy has existed this whole time. And everything that happened then happened. But now here's the first alien. So now you guys meet. And Christian Bale or Christopher Nolan said, no, thank you. And then they were like, ugh. But we wrote the script where, you know what it reminds me of? Remember the Ang Lee Hulk movie with Eric Bana?
Oh,
Where at the end of that movie, he ends up in South America. And he's like, what do you say? He says in Spanish, like, you don't want to make me angry.
Yeah.
He says that in Spanish. And that's how that movie ends as the camera pans up. The beginning of The Incredible Hulk, 5 years later, Edward Norton. He's in Brazil.
Yeah.
And I still think, I think that evolved from a first draft of Hulk 2.
Absolutely.
And then it kept evolving,
At least Hulk 2,
evolving into like, what if this is just a reboot? Should we keep the beginning? Yeah, it's cool. He's in Brazil. Who fucking cares? It's cool.
Brazil.
We'll do the opening credits. He's
and
the
then
Hulk.
we'll get the fuck out of there real quick.
Yeah, he escapes. He escapes to
in, get
Brazil,
out.
Yep.
and now let's tell the new movie.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I think that's what Batman versus Superman started as. Was
Yeah.
like Batman versus Christian. Oh, he doesn't want to do it.
And originally before that, the rumor was that it was going to be Christian Bale and Brandon Routh. And because that went south.
Right,
Oh,
because
yeah,
Superman
yeah.
Returns comes out, and again, you can feel that the plan was like Superman Returns in 06 was like, and then he's gonna be
Look,
Oh, nobody likes
Batman
this movie.
Begins and Superman Returns.
Nobody likes Superman Returns.
Look what
Okay.
Kelly Jones said in the chat right now. This is going to be a 3-hour episode, isn't it? Yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
not.
it's going to be
He should
3 hours.
stop. Kelly Jones,
Thanks for calling us out.
thank you
I
for
know,
reining us
even,
in.
even the people who tuned in are sick of it already, dudes.
Well,
Passion.
Look.
Passion.
the point is that, like somebody said, so many factors. Leo, so many factors. I don't know if he's even referring to what we're talking about. Everybody likes to have their own
I
conversations.
know, right? They're all having their own.
But like,
yeah.
if we're gonna talk about this thing, I wanted to talk. There's
Yeah.
a lot to talk
we
about.
went
There's a
into
lot.
it, yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's a lot of angles,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it's not something that's like we're not gonna be like other people. JTE and Billy Business had a great conversation too. We're not gonna be like other people online. They're like, "Nah, Warner Brothers fucked up. Let's move on." It's like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's not,
Break it apart and talk about it and see like where
and
you go.
we need to state our case because people think that we don't like these movies or characters.
For some
like,
reason.
we need to state
Yeah.
our case. Like the reason we're overthinking the hell out of this is because we love these
Right, right, right,
characters.
right.
We love these
I
comics.
love these characters
we love
more
these,
than Marvel characters because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
But
That's
apparently I'm
okay.
paid by Disney. So.
and that's okay. So I don't know if that shit hasn't convinced you, then like y'all are just a hater. Like I don't,
yeah,
you know,
no,
it's
exactly,
like,
exactly.
and we got to get out of here because
Yeah.
Naeem guys has to get home.
I know. Yeah, we're holding everybody
Naeem?
else up.
We
Is there
are,
anybody
yeah.
else in the chat that we need to give props to
No,
for donating?
we went through all of them.
Right on.
Thank you guys.
Okay,
So thank you
that
guys
was
so
good.
much for
That was
sticking
fun.
through this. We will cover the other topics that we didn't get to cover next week, unless, God forbid, some other news happens that something else, who knows? DC got sold to Paramount Pictures. I don't know.
Everybody's so nice. They're
Yeah.
like, we're in. We're good on blankets. It's just, dude, coming
Let's
off
have a
of, like,
sleepover.
Yeah.
bro, we just lost Captain Kirk. And it's Star Trek. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy that Henry Cavill, right
You know
after
we-
Captain
you know what
Kirk,
we
we
need
lost
to do?
Superman.
We need to figure out how we could survive through a 12-hour charity stream and just do this for 12 hours. And have
I
like
mean,
little
we'd
breaks
have
in
to have some
between.
pretty big news that day, though.
I know.
No, we'll just keep discussing all the news that
Yeah. That's
everybody's
true.
moved on since.
That's true. Yeah,
I
we
still
could,
have
we could
thoughts
talk
about Captain Kirk in
That's
Star
true.
Trek.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I still have thoughts about,
Oh, wow.
Edward
Andrew Boyer
Boyer-
for the $25 tip. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Wow.
man,
You guys
that's
are awesome. I love your passion. I hope to work with you guys in the future.
That'd be dope.
Oh,
That'd be dope.
interesting.
Hey, you know what?
Thank you
Get
so
a job
much.
at Warner Brothers and hire us.
That's right.
then we'll work
Do you
together.
happen to work at WB?
Do you work in the Burbank
That'd
area?
be great.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I know we didn't get to the other topics. We will cover them. Next week, also, the DC Universe app will have officially launched. It officially launches on Saturday.
Batman Day.
That's right. Batman
Dude,
Day, baby.
that's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
Batman Day is gonna be a good day. Like that shit's gonna make me want to pop in Batman Begins. That shit's gonna make me want to watch Batman
The Dark
animated
Knight in
series.
IMAX
Right?
tingled my jingles.
Right?
Real
Like,
good.
That's gonna be.
Is Matt still here?
Is there a Superman Day?
Oh, he
Can
is
we
here.
have a Superman Day, guys?
Every day
for
should be
us?
Superman Day.
Can we
Every day is
like,
Superman Day. How dope was the Dark Knight in IMAX?
Matt's into it.
Bam.
Matt's into it.
It was thunder.
Yeah.
Matt was grabbing me in places he shouldn't have been, but I was like, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm
yo.
here for you, mijo.
I got
That's
you.
a good ass movie. T-Boys.
Yeah.
But isn't Star Trek bigger than Kirk? Not Star Trek with Captain Kirk and the Enterprise.
No,
T-Boys,
don't
you
even-
did that shit. You knew
Oh,
what
no.
you were doing.
Oh,
Jesus
no.
Christ.
You know what you
no.
did.
Cut it off, Naeem.
What have we
Cut
done?
it off,
What have we
Naeem.
done? Oh, no.
Cut it off.
did, T-Boys.
Well, there goes Hector.
Yep.
But stick around, guys. There's plenty more stuff coming from Hyper RPG. Check us out on Twitch. Twitch.tv.
I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day.
Oh, my God. Naeem, just roll the uncard and get us the hell out of here. Good night, everyone.